morning there. You're watching QTV this morning, and I am your host, Jenna Bosonko, joined by my amazing co-host, looking smart, looking very smart this morning. Good morning.
Morning, Jenaba. I mean, well, I love the outfit. I mean, you chose it for me.
Yeah. Good morning, Miss Ade.
Good morning. I'm just also admire the dapper-looking Balde.
Yeah.
He looks really sharp.
I really have taste.
You know, these type of outfits, they are not my thing, but I love this one, and I'll keep doing it this way.
Yeah,
now,
looks amazing.
You know,
looks amazing.
And it's courtesy of Jenna Bosonko. I mean, when we went shopping, she said you need to choose this one. I mean, this will look good on you.
And once again, I'm on set without makeup because you threatened me. I never come on this morning without makeup. I fake it. Once again, no makeup.
Actually, I think the tone of your flesh is it's
amazing. The tone of my skin, not my flesh.
I call lipstick is makeup, right?
No, this
flesh,
is just
skin. Is all
with a Hamatan, I can't allow my lips to be cracky.
Remove flesh from skin.
No.
and your lips are part of your face.
Yes, well, good morning, gentlemen. It's always good to have you guys here. And yesterday on YouTube and on Facebook, everybody's like, "Where's Mr. Adedarami?" So all of you
must be all the people I paid to. So thank you for.
I'm like,
accepting
you know,
he's right in front of you today because all of you guys were asking yesterday.
Mr. Ade, I am surprised and I am feeling very jealous right now. You know why? How can you be more famous than me in my own town, Basse? How can that be possible?
Where's Mr. Adedarami?
I mean, people were asking me, where is Ade? Where is Ade? Is Ade Mandinka? People ask.
Nice.
I said he is a lost Mandinka.
He's a lost one.
And you're right about that. And I've said it. I've said it many times.
Yeah.
You know, my father spoke it fluently, but he would never.
never
teach it.
All right. So all of you who's been asking on social media, Facebook and YouTube, Mr. Adedarami is right in front of you today. So as usual, we have the African proverb, which is my favorite part of the program, and Community Watch today, we have something very interesting, which has to do with a newspaper exhibition that was organized by the School of Journalism Students Association, and we will be joined by the former dean of the school, Nana Gray Johnson, to further take us through newspaper and magazine exhibition, as well as the evolution of Gambian press for over more than a century.
Yeah, dating back to the 1870s.
Yes.
I attended it and I was very impressed by that exhibition.
Yeah, it was well organized, and thumbs up to the School of Journalism Students Association. There's Students Week was amazing. This is the first time that we have something as structured as that. So it simply shows that the younger ones coming, you know, the brains are there, they're innovative, and they're ready to take it on. Sure. So we will have that. Very interesting. And moving on, we'll also be joined by Mohamed Drame, a UTG student who will be representing the Gambia at the West Africa Youth and Students Summit in Niger. Also on Click segment, we have Churchill Balde, who will be joined by a guest in the studio to take us through what's happening in the world of entertainment. So, moving on, what is our African proverb?
Yes, the African proverb is, you can't win a race while scratching your buttock. You can't win a race by scratching your buttock. Wow.
Yeah, Jennifer, do you want to take this one?
No.
As it's made you laugh.
I don't want, not yet.
Imagine running.
Okay.
Running like this, doing it that way and scratching at the same time.
Okay, well, I'll dive in. I guess, you know, not to take it literally, but I guess it's about concentrating on the task in hand.
True.
You know, if you have a task to do, concentrate on that task and you will complete it and you'll complete it well. So if you take it literally, in the case of, you know, you have a race to run instead of doing that, you know, then, you know, the others who are concentrating on the race will go ahead of you.
Imagine if you are to do a deep scratch. I mean, how will that? How can you?
Valde, please regulate yourself. It's too early for
you. Do you really have to go there?
Yeah, do you really have to go there?
No, I'm not talking about the deep that you people are talking about.
You know, anyway, whatever.
Move on.
Please, so Mr. Ade, interpret it, but do not tell us how to scratch a buttock because we already know.
Oh, you already know.
Yes, whatever. So,
if you're a human, you
already know. So you can't win a race while scratching your buttock. I totally agree with you. And you know, this happens in, you know, African governments a lot, where when there's an agenda, everything is too scanty. Like there's no specific focus to like achieve things straight up, and most of the time that kind of makes whatever we're trying to achieve unachievable. Because at the end of the day, it's not, the goal is not defined, the document is there, but every other thing is just going on simultaneously,
very fluffy.
And there's no proper direction. I think really that is part of the things that affects our systems and processes and policies, because there's no direction. The document is there, fine, we have this law put in place, but then the coordinating bodies are not even coordinating with each other. Everybody is doing things individually, you know, and that is not going to make anything work.
It's you know, I always say that African governments, and this applies across the continent pretty much, they're good at regulation but not at implementation. So if you look at the laws, every country in Africa, they have fantastic laws, beautifully designed and drafted, passed in parliament, everybody agrees. When it comes to implementation, oh boy, big problem, and we don't, and that's lack of focus.
It is lack of focus.
And lack of
it is lack of focus.
So,
and the moment you're concentrating on something else, you don't expect, this is a country, for God's sake, this is a continent. You know, it's not just some exams that, you know, someone's trying to do. This has to do with a whole population of people getting, you know, things done and all of that. I was just talking to the director of Children's Affairs from the Ministry of Gender and Children, and we were talking about how still that social protection systems that we're looking forward to are not there yet. Also, the fact that since 2019 the ministry is here. I'm not saying there's not much that has been achieved, but the hopes were too high. You know. So, and then now questions started coming in. So at the end of the day,
I'm glad you mentioned this about being hopes being too high, because what people should do is concentrate on things that are achievable.
Exactly.
And then when you achieve them, everyone's like, oh wow, can you do better? And then yes.
But
if you set the goals too high and too ridiculous, you don't have the manpower, you don't have the resources, you're not going to hit them. And that's a lack of focus.
That is what I think it was. So Uncle CD or someone, was it Mar or something? I think it was Mar that I was having this debate with, because, you know, he was talking about something extremely high. I'm like, Mar, let's take a look at our own context. Like, we have to be realistic about things that we can achieve as a country, because who are we trying to fool at the end of the day? Because there are things that just we put high up there. We know the technical know-how is not there, like you mentioned, education, you know, the equipment. So we need to be focused, you know. You know, let's just go to the goal, and the little things that we can achieve leads to bigger things, but we do not know that. You know. So
Balde, you finished scratching.
Well, I mean,
are you concentrating on the race now?
It's telling you to focus on the most important things. I mean, you cannot be distracted. Don't allow to be distracted. That's what it's telling you. But Mr. Ade, I think it's contradicting with that saying, killing two birds with one stone. I don't know. I mean, it keeps coming
necessarily.
Like, if you killing two birds with one stone means, I mean, doing a lot of things at the same time, making sure you don't lose this and lose here. I mean,
not necessarily. Not necessarily. Kill two birds with one stone might mean, or tends to mean, that you set out to do one particular thing, you achieve that thing, and almost as a byproduct, you achieve something else. But if you set out to do those two things at the same time, you might not actually achieve either, because you're kind of splitting yourself in a way. But sometimes through luck, rather than planning, you end up achieving something.
Exactly.
And
so
thing is, I don't agree with that, because even if you're set out to achieve two things, you plan them. You have a goal to achieve two things. It's clearly spelled out. But here we're talking about the unnecessary distraction that will come. The moment you want to achieve two things, it's not distraction anymore, because it's a goal that you have and you're walking towards it. But then the scratching we're talking about is the unnecessary something that will not yield dividend when it comes to what you're looking forward to.
That takes you off the path.
That is true. I mean, it's telling you to focus. I mean, it's important for one to focus on the most important thing. You understand? So I think I agree on this one.
And sometimes, just to be in closing this segment, sometimes our viewers agree or disagree with our own interpretation, which is good, because it stimulates thought and it forces people to think. And I think that's really part of why we have these. So
that's the African proverb. Like I always say, we can't force our ideas on you. So it's open, Facebook and YouTube. Tell us, you know, what you think about our African proverb today. Yeah. So from that, we will go for a short commercial break. And when we come back, we'll be talking about the Nottingham fire, as well as delve into just current issues in general. So we'll go for a break, and when we come back, the show continues. We'll be right back.
QMoney is back again with its easy-to-use, secure and convenient mobile app that allows you to carry out all your transactions. No matter where you are or what time it is, you can always access your funds. With the new QMoney app, you can cash in and out, buy credit, buy QPower, shop, make payments, and so much more. You can also send QMoney, pay bills, receive international remittances, and transfer cash to others. Just download the app from your Play Store or App Store and get started. For more information, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sinu Calpe. We innovate, others follow.
QMoney, the biggest mobile money service in the Gambia, has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your QMoney wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your QMoney wallet and get instant access to...
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. So, gentlemen, moving on, we have sad news as a 20-year-old Gambian woman, Binta Sharif, died last night from her injuries after a flat fire, which also killed her 2 children in Nottingham, UK. So the BBC England reported this yesterday. A very sad situation there.
Indeed. The husband had been in America, and when he was alerted to details of the fire, which we can see on the screen, he flew, and the mother was still alive, but unfortunately she also passed away. And according to the Nottinghamshire police, they have arrested a 31-year-old man on suspicion of arson and murder. And they've got another 24 hours from, as I speak, within which to charge him or let him go, but he is a prime suspect. They've not said what connection he has to the mother and children, but he is at the moment the only suspect. Yeah,
because here it is said that the force said the blaze in the first flat of a 2-story residential property was started deliberately.
And that's right. And some of the neighbors have spoken, some have spoken anonymously, and they were saying how terrible it was. The fire when it was raging. You know, the authorities got there too late to save their lives, sadly. And it's a tragic case. There was a story in the Guardian newspaper, England's Guardian newspaper. They had a beautiful picture of her and the children sitting in a park.
That's it, right?
Yes.
Very young family.
Young family, beautiful looking family. And real tragic.
It's sad. But I mean, I like what they said. I mean, we will turn every single stone to make so the family will get justice. I hope, I mean, they get justice quickly.
But, you know, I saw somebody post on Twitter in response to that. It said, what do you mean by justice? You can jail somebody, but you can't bring these people back to life. And he said, for me, there's no justice that people have died in these circumstances.
It's just
and I read that, and it made me think, actually, that yes, there is that. We don't know much else about the case. I think they've been there for only a year or so in the United Kingdom. And certainly according to, and if people can see from the mobile phone footage, the blaze was quite ferocious.
It was just
and there we see the spokesperson for the Nottinghamshire police addressing the press and keeping them you know, up to date.
Actually, this is reminding me of the Brooks.
The one in America?
Yeah, you know, Gambian families. That was just, you know, it's the memories are coming back.
And, you know, we feel these things because, you know, if you've lived in Europe, what you tend to find is that Gambian communities, Sierra Leonean communities, they're very tight-knit communities. We all kind of know each other. I certainly found that when I went to Sweden and Norway, you met Gambians you know, every weekend they would get together and people know each other. And I suspect in Nottinghamshire it will be the same.
thing.
You know, people will know because initially some newspapers have started reporting here in the Gambia that they were a Gambian family, but they said out of respect for the fact that the police had not released the names, they were also withholding the names. Then eventually the Nottinghamshire police released the names, and then people felt...
There's something that is said on the paper that caught my attention. I mean, according to investigation, it is said the fire was started deliberately. I mean, like, that's what they suspect. I mean, you know.
Yes, I mean, those sorts of things sometimes it's easy to determine. Because, for example, if somebody, just for argument's sake, I'm not saying this, if somebody put a petrol bomb and they threw it in a particular area, you will see the impact and you will see that this is where the fire started. So straight away, you can tell that there was something suspicious. Well, it could be that somebody saw somebody do something and run away. And they might have given them that information that I saw somebody do something. So, you know, those are some of the reasons why they think. But I think also these fire experts, they're very, very good. And
they can easily...
Forensic fire experts, they can tell straight away whether a fire was...
so we're sending some love and light to the husband.
Condolences to him.
It's
and
a difficult
it must be,
one.
I mean, he gave a heartbreaking interview saying that, you know, he's really heartbroken and he's devastated, as you can imagine.
It is very sad.
It is. So moving on, let's take a look at all the issues happening in the Gambia currently.
I think we have the...
Yes, so before that, we saw the media run challenge come up with this collaboration with UNICEF, you know, to actually feature children on World Children's Day. That was excellent because the media, considering its role when it comes to holding government accountable, when it comes to policies for children and all of that, just, you know, putting in those deliberate decisions to report on children, which we do as a television.
We try. I mean, because it's quite a thing, because as you said, and you kind of implied in the report that you did, children are not in a position to put their own case about their rights, about their plight. The media are in a unique position to be able to do that. And I think many times the media don't do that, ourselves included, I have to say. We don't always. We don't always.
It's not an everyday thing.
Yes, and you know, and when you look at some of the plights of children in the country, we should do it more often than we do. Maybe people might get fed up of seeing lots and lots of terrible stories about children begging on the streets, children working in car garages where they shouldn't, and that kind of thing. But in a sense, we need to keep highlighting these, and we shouldn't take them for granted, because it's when society takes them for granted, then that's when we really should be open to criticism. So you're right, it's good that the media on challenge linked this to kind of say, you know, the media has a role in highlighting this. I saw MS Barr, the speech he was making about, you know, why this matters, because we were all children once.
And the interview with the children, they're amazing, you know, very outspoken. One of them was talking about how parents should step back.
That Jaita,
Ibrahima Jaita said, we are the ones in class. We do the syllabus. We get to deal with all of the, you know, challenges. You do not know, so guide us, but don't choose our career for us.
You know, he reminded me of the proverb we had the other day about wisdom, not being born with wisdom. Because when we heard him speak, people in the we were watching it in the office. Everybody looked up and they're like, "This is a school child." He sounded very mature. He sounded very reasonable, and he made a very valid point. He said, you know, if your child says they want a particular career, support them in that. Don't try and turn them. And it's what parents are guilty of all along. Sometimes parents are right. And I certainly give thanks to my parents, because I wanted to be a footballer. And you know, my parents said very reasonably, you get injured too often to be a professional footballer. So concentrate on other things. But that was what I wanted to do.
No. You're just clumsy with things?
No. In playing football, I got lots of football injuries, and so I was a good footballer. But I think my parents made the right decision, much as I hated.
But your dad wanted you to be a lawyer.
My dad wanted me to be a lawyer because he was a lawyer too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, but I wanted to be a footballer, and my mother was the one who was very much against it, and she said quite reasonably, you know. So sometimes you know, parents can make the right decisions for us, but you know, at the time I didn't like it.
Yeah. Well, for me, you know, I did commerce back in school, so I they got it wrong. You know, and it was, you know, kind of family wanting me to do something that is commercial, as in banking or marketing or just something in the commerce field. But I always knew that, you know, that's not the space that I'm supposed to occupy.
This is it.
You know?
Now, okay, you brought up the children's thing and the media, newspapers.
Yeah.
So in your view, do you think the media, particularly, we're doing newspaper review. Yeah. Do the newspapers feature them as much as they should, you know, children's issues and so on?
I do not think so, because normally, even if they feature them, it's not as in the headline. Because when it comes to newspaper, people just look at the front page. Yeah. Some people just look at the front page. They do not check inside, front, back, and they're done. They don't get in it. So if they want, you know, these things to move, then it has to be front page, headline all the time.
It
you know,
and priority.
Yeah, and media houses as well. When it comes to broadcast, it's not as expected. Normally, we just follow up on these things when incidents happen. You know, like rape or kidnapping or something.
I mean, there are times when we've set the agenda. I mean, we did a story that Troy did about the orphanage.
Oh yes, that came to my mind.
Were being mistreated. So we got a tip off. Yeah. And that became a big story.
It did.
Leading to the closure, temporary closure anyway.
Well, I think.
But those are the, like, special cases. But I'm talking about somebody just putting up a human interest story that has nothing to do with an incident.
We've done some.
I've done many.
You know, like children working at the roadside, you've done stuff. So yeah, it happens, but not enough.
Not enough.
Well, there are many stories that can be done with children.
I think you were going to.
It's just a matter of.
And also, the CPA really is dropping when it comes to their engagement. Because I've not been seeing them active. Well, the last time their information guy came, he said, oh, we're doing things underground. But I told him there's a reason why you're a communications officer. Because if you do not publish these things, you can't convince me that you're doing something. So you need to put this out for us to know that, okay, this is what the Child Protection Alliance is doing, you know.
Because in the absence of news, we will assume they're not doing anything.
Like the Aki case where they couldn't even put up a press release. They had to do it last minute when social media
everybody else had talked about it, and the whole world had covered the incident.
So that's unfortunate.
Quite ironic.
Exactly.
So Mr. Balde, you had something for it?
Yes, let's move on and check. Government announces price of groundnut at 32,000 per ton. Yes, real estate companies ought to submit documents or risk being banned.
Yeah, it's a good one and it's a difficult one because the sector is unregulated. And we've talked about this before. If you want to control a sector like this, you need to regulate it, and we need to do it now because lots of people who, because of the 22 years of authoritarian rule, had left the Gambia. A lot of them are coming back now. A lot of them are buying properties. Even as I speak, a friend of mine has just sent me via email the deeds. He's waiting to complete for a year now, and he's paid the money in full. Wow! And I almost mentioned the estate agent company. I won't, but and he's been pursuing them, and I have phoned them 3 times in the last week. Every time, oh, I'm just going out. I'm just going to the mosque. I'll call you when I get back. Guys, if you don't want me to mention your names, please call me today or tomorrow. I will mention your names.
Please mention. We will mention them.
They're giving the sector a bad name because there are some who behave responsibly and properly. And because of these kind of bad apples, everybody gets, you know.
Exactly.
They get
when you look at the name, like the names of real estates in the Gambia, it's not quite good.
It's not good.
Because of certain behaviors in the market now. People went to the extent that, I mean, even to get their land after making all their payments, getting land becomes a problem.
Which is what I'm talking about.
A land that you want to buy, this land have already been sold to
somebody else.
You know, so we have a lot of issues.
And sadly, some people have the money, they want to buy, but they are scared to buy because you do not know who to trust. And you know,
I wish I could bring our colleague Korka back to come and talk about this, because he brought some people who were from the UK, and they sat with me for over an hour, and they were saying, well, you bought land and you're building now. What was the process? And I told them about the pros and cons. And Korka also had instances of friends of his who have lost millions from land. They've been swindled. And there's too much of that going on. It is spoiling the country's name, and particularly the country's name, but also, of course, in the sector itself. The real estate sector is getting a bad name, and these guys need to get their act together.
And it needs to be regulated. Jana Bas Real Estate, Ibrahim Baldes.
We have a lot of
real estate.
A lot of them. I mean, some of them
all over the place.
You don't even know them. I mean, at times you question yourself, where did they get all these lands from? Yeah. You know, so it needs to be regulated.
It needs to. So that thing about they need to, you know, get, registered or whatever, that certainly needs to happen.
But Ms. Ari, at the end of the time, when you look at it, I mean, authorities too will come on the newspaper and talk about this, make noise. At the end of the time, there will be no implementation.
Now it's our responsibility as media to make sure we follow up on this.
But whether the media too is going to follow it
because
the media, sometimes they don't follow these things.
You know what? You know when they will start following it up? When 3 or 4 editors of newspapers end up getting scammed in a land deal, then they'll come together and think, this is a serious issue. Let's take it up as a crusade.
Yes.
And then it becomes a crusade, and then it forces them.
It's very rare
to be regulated.
To see the media following a story. Very rare to follow a story for 1 year, so that you can get all the all the proof.
That's
tough.
That could be for a variety of reasons.
Let's talk about resource constraints as well. Yeah. Some of these stories require a lot of money.
That's right.
You know, and we know, circumstances. For QTV, for example, news has to go on. It's an everyday thing. Yeah. So the moment you have, it's not an investigative. We have Malagan, for example. They specialize on just investigative journalism. That is what they do. We all know. Yeah. They can spend a year and follow up on a story, and when it comes out, maybe the money, the income that it brings in is there, and it can't pay the bills. But an institution like us or other institutions, really, let's be honest, we can't.
What resources does a newspaper have to follow a case for a year, investigatively? Yeah. It's not easy. And so, that's one of the reasons why, as you said, they might start off with it. But I think also as a reader of the newspaper, maybe you should ask that newspaper, you did a story about 6 months ago about blah, blah, blah. What's happened since? Yeah. Have you followed it up? I'm intrigued. I'm interested. Maybe the newspaper readers need to get as involved.
We have this tradition whereby people will tell you, okay, let them talk about it for 1 week. After 1 week, people won't talk about this again.
They'll talk about something else.
I think it's because there is a certain group, certain people that are not doing their job.
Yes, and in the UK they have this saying that today's newspaper is tomorrow's fish and chips paper. So today everybody reads it, and then tomorrow you see them wrapping fish or wrapping chips in that same newspaper. And that's kind of what it implies. That's it. And you're right. So there is this thing. Oh, they'll talk about it for a week and it'll go away, and unfortunately that tends to happen. And so when instead of these people being held to account by both the newspapers and the readers, they just brush it off. Oh yeah, they'll talk about me today and so on. But nowadays what tends to happen is a lot of things. You mentioned about the AKI case. Yeah. CPA got involved because there was a lot of social media sort of criticism.
Yeah, social media were blasted.
You are the ones mentioning, you're responsible for children's affairs and so on. Why are you not commenting on this? CNN, Al Jazeera, BBC, they've all featured it. Why have you guys not said anything? Yeah. So they came out. So sometimes these days social media can really force the issue, and that is
what happens even with our government on a daily basis. They tend to react more when it comes to what is said on social media.
Well, I don't know if you watch State of Affairs, the deputy government spokesman was saying quite the opposite.
He said that?
Yes, he said.
But we're seeing things.
He said, it's not our job. He said, it's not our job to kind of respond to social media. And in a way, I agree with him. Because, government's job is not to respond to every Twitter post and every Facebook post and so on. That's not government's job. You just need to set the record straight about things and then deal with it. If people come with questions, fine. But sometimes, the reaction...
But we've seen them react to those things several times. Yes. Put out press releases.
Sometimes. Because they thought it was...
Exactly. And sometimes maybe a speech or a statement comes out and social media says this, and then they go to rectify it back. That has happened. And that is what has been happening.
So let's see. Foroya is
just
asking,
saying that.
Yes.
Will it be or not?
Will what be?
Will it be or not, the OIC summit?
Well,
That's clear.
That's a question.
That's clear already.
I mean, I'm not even sure what that question still gets
They are
asked.
Yeah, it's not
No,
even
the thing is
relevant at
that
this point.
we know it will be one day because the funds are there for the infrastructure to be built.
Yeah.
As to when that date is, we have to be honest about it.
Exactly.
We don't know. There's no use pretending. I remember when I came here, I won't mention the guy's name, in 2019, when it was originally meant. I just went on drive time with him, Boj, innocently, and I said, well, it's not like, this was in August, and I said, it's not going to happen in the Gambia this year. I got back to my desk, and he phoned me and started blasting me. And I said, are you serious? Are you telling me it's going to happen in the Gambia?
Yeah, let's be.
Of course it didn't happen in 2019.
It can't.
Ended up being in Jeddah, in Saudi. You know, so we have to be honest about it.
Yeah.
The funds are there. We can see the infrastructure being put in place around us. So it will happen eventually.
And for me, I agree with what you said the last time about the fact that whatever the case, the conference is just a few days, a day or two or three, but we're concerned about the infrastructure that it's bringing.
The legacy.
And we are seeing it already.
The legacy
Look
of
at the
that
OIC Center that all government institutions are making good use of at the end of the day.
That's
so
right.
I think that is what we should concentrate on more than, oh, we need to host the summit tomorrow.
I don't know why people are still stressing about will it be, will it not be. As you rightly said, once
And
the
the fact
infrastructure is
that
settled, then we can bring
it's a
people in.
political agenda, seeing oppositions, I'm like, guys, chill.
Yeah.
You know, you should,
for me,
like,
what will be the use of bringing the conference here where we don't have the infrastructure in place? So let them just relax and wait till it's all built. Then if it's built and it doesn't happen, then
well, for me, I think the most important thing is the infrastructure. Well, I don't think we should just release Ade. We need to mention this. Government announces price of groundnut at 32,000 a ton.
What do you want me to do?
32,000. I think.
Want him to buy some?
No, I think it's important for us to
recognize. Anyway, gentlemen, I think time is up. So thank you so much, Mr. Ade Durami, for joining us. I just hope you guys are happy. Facebook and YouTube. Yesterday you've been, where's Mr. Ade Durami? He's right here.
I'm here.
Yes.
In case they thought I'd gone to Cape Verde.
Probably. Yes, probably. Thank you so much for joining us. So up next, we're heading right on to Community Watch, and we'll be joined by Mr. Nana Gray Johnson, and we'll be talking about a newspaper and magazine exhibition that was organized by the School of Journalism Students Association and delve into the evolution of Gambian press over more than a century. We will be right back.
Money, the biggest mobile money service in the Gambia, has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your Money wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your Money wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using Money Bank Link is the fastest, most secure and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
The World Cup is here. Enjoy the beautiful game of football with our Samsung Smart TV. Enjoy a massive discount on any Samsung TV purchased. We have sizes ranging from 32 to 85 inches. Packed with an ever-evolving variety of content and features. The Samsung Smart TV also provides your favorite video on-demand services such as Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, music streaming services, and even various games and sports content to enjoy as you please. For more information, call us on 333 217, on WhatsApp 350 555 5. Or visit our brand shops at the ground floor of QCell building or at the Bruceby turntable. This promo lasts till 30th December.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV This Morning, and I'm your host, Jenna Bosonko, joined by my amazing co-host, Ibrahim Abalde, looking all good, well dressed.
Oh yeah.
And now we're joined by the former dean of the University of the Gambia School of Journalism and Digital Media, Nana Gray Johnson. My former dean, actually. Let me just put it that way. Welcome to the program. So discussion today will be centered on the Journalism Students Association organized an open exhibition of Gambian newspapers and magazines covering more than a century. This was at the Alliance Franco. And, you know, just generally, the exhibition focused on the importance of how journalism has evolved in the Gambia since the 1870s and the great journalists behind the publications. I do not know who came up with this idea, but it's a brilliant one. And I think the Journalism Students Association for this year is thinking way ahead, you know?
Yes. Good, thanks for having me on the show. And this idea had been in the works since 2016.
Nice.
And that is why we took our time to spend some money doing the frames.
Right.
And we worked hard with the Photoshop at Kairaba Avenue. And they gave us all those, they built all those frame for us. And then we opened, we sent letters out to the National Record Services and the NCAC and the GPU asking for that kind of collaboration so that we can have a major exhibition. What you saw last week was actually, we had to bring that down a little bit because of space.
Nice.
We have more exhibits than we showed. So we decided in the end to call it a mini exhibition.
Okay.
But then we insisted that it should go on so we could use this as our, you know, our testing ground.
Just
so that we can come up with something bigger next year.
Okay.
And that now we have learned what venue to look for.
Right.
We realized that we have a great many exhibits that need to be shown. And of course, all the little issues that we had to overcome will now be satisfied and cleaned up.
Exactly.
You know, it's interesting talking about how you were able to just get all these old newspapers because, you know, sometimes people say, oh, Gambians didn't chadara. But it seems that is not the case.
Well, this effort comes from government, really.
Okay.
Because these archives have been there for a long time. And thanks to Nigeria, we go back to the independence. Nigeria gave Gambia government the PPP government, well, the Gambia, not the PPP government.
Exactly.
£10,000.
Oh, wow.
As an independence gift to say, what do we do with this money? They say, well, you build your archives. And that was seed money back in '65. And it's thrilling just working in archives if you have that research mentality, that research mindset.
Right.
Just going, I am not a historian, but I love archives and I love research centers. And I've been concentrating, of course, on just bringing out the history of journalism for people to know that journalism did not start in the Gambia in the 1990s with the papers.
Exactly.
Let's delve into that now.
Well, I wanted to ask, what is the oldest newspaper that you displayed here so far?
We displayed
the oldest. What is the year?
We displayed one called the Batos Times, which came out in 1871.
The Batos Times.
The Batos Times.
Right.
We have had the newspaper with us since 1871. People would need to know that. So that the tradition is here, we have just not exploited it. Right. And but you see, that was published by a European businessman called Thomas Brown.
Right.
And I don't know how acquainted you are with Banjul, but there's a street somewhere in Afdai called Brown Street. Well, that street was named after Thomas Brown, who was a magistrate, a businessman, a JP, or, you know, all rolled into one because, of course, manpower issues of those days, personnel issues of those days. And, well, he took the Batos Times to be the voice of the Europeans in the colony. When the agitators, those he would call agitators, didn't have a platform, they sent their letters. That's how they became the memorialists. They sent memorials to a newspaper in England called the African Times, edited by a great guy called Ferdinand Fitzgerald, very good guy whose history we need to know. And he was editing the African Times, which was the voice of the African Aid Society. And that was the African Aid Society that was protecting the colonies from exploitation by the colonialists and recording every little ill that they've been doing in the colony against the colonials.
Right.
And that was the only way they could air their suffering, so to speak. Well, the African Times got its way for a while,
Right.
until the merchant class in Banjul decided that they wanted their own newspaper. And they went in and they started the Intelligencer. And that came out in 1883.
Right.
And John Foster, Samuel John Foster, was put in charge of that newspaper, and other businessmen came in, the Edmund Thomases that you need to read about, the whole
Foster,
business,
Yeah.
who formed the
I
chamber.
heard about
Right.
the Foster family.
The Foster family,
Right.
very key family
Right.
in the Bathurst affairs of those days. John Foster happened also to be the sort of president of the Chamber of Commerce, although the idea wasn't that put together. But then he would recommend to the government all the artisans that would come and start off business. And the governor just says, you are in business. You recommend businesses, and if you're satisfied with them, we'll give them land to start doing business.
Right.
So, of course, the historical flow of artisans from Sierra Leone, the Carrolls, the and then St. Louis gave us the Blaines and the Halls, and that was a happy family of traders.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we can trade as much as we want. When they went and established their thing in Balangar, and there were big traders in there, but they had no voice because they had no paper. So they floated shares, and they started the Intelligencer.
Yeah, so now let's talk about censorship and media law and ethics at a time. You know, how was the climate at a time when it comes to media law and ethics and just censorship? Because you're talking about how newspapers were used for community members to talk about hardships and everything.
Well, in the colonial days, the governor was almighty. And as a matter of fact, colonials around the governor behaved as if they were part of the government too.
Right.
Otherwise, Mr. Walker would not have gone to the church in Balangar and slapped and threatened Mr. Small, just because Mr. Small was ringing the bell to welcome 1918, 31st of December 1917, for 1st of January 1918. And ringing a bell in a Methodist church is a tradition to welcome the new year.
Right.
But here was the commissioner was out of office, was out of his jurisdiction somewhere in Bathurst. And Walker went to the church premises and said to this man, "Your bell ringing is disturbing my sleep."
Interesting.
But instead of the Wesleyan community, because it was a European, that's the kind of gripe they sent back to London for redress, because the European Parsifal was a European, and Walker was a European. It ended up that it was Small who was considered inconsiderate, and he lost his job in Balangar. That sort of thing.
Let's come back to the exhibit. I mean, don't you? How will this benefit journalism today?
Well, the benefits have been seen already in the number of people who came to see we couldn't tally everything because we didn't have people on post to tell us the number of visits. But as I said, these are the things we are going to look at and to make sure that there's somebody 4-hour shift of student from the School of Journalism to make sure that we record how many people came to see the exhibition, and that will give us the opportunity to describe the benefits even further.
Right.
But the students themselves had a good time.
Yeah. So,
And they learned more, as a matter of fact, by just seeing things. As a matter of fact, more than they probably did sitting in class.
yeah, so what is the contribution of women when it comes to newspapers at a time?
Well, we had a section on women in journalism.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, women in journalism. The best and brightest of the time. We had a woman called Marion Foon, who was married to a Gambian, Uncle Keba Foon. And it was she who told, because Keba Foon was part of the Gambian National Party, said, you know, let's bankroll a newspaper and put it behind the party. So in 1958, 57, 58, there was the Gambian National Party with a newspaper behind it called the Vanguard.
Right.
And it was bankrolled by another philanthropist and another businessman called John Bidwell Bright, very popular fellow at the time, who would sponsor all these social causes. And he bankrolled the party. And then for the first time, a party had a newspaper. And when that was attempted, it was sort of a piggybacking when the Echo became, quote unquote, a United Party paper.
Yeah.
Because P.S. Njai, who was the founder of the United Party, became a member of the Echo Syndicate that ran the Echo, the newspaper.
Right.
And a very good journalist, as a matter of fact, one of the best we've ever produced, very good editor by the name of Ingram Landry Peters. Sort of saw the same political dimensions as P.S. Njai did. And of course, since P.S. was in the syndicate and Peters was the editor, well, when they joined forces, the newspaper became a sort of a spokes medium for the United Party. And you can consider that, well, a paper has become political.
Yeah.
Mr. John, what were the issues then?
The issues were the color bar, what Africans were suffering in the hands of European colonials. The issue was education. The issue was equity, equality of the civil service. And unfortunately, there were two camps, distinct camps of Africans who were of the school of thought that Africans were not ready to rule themselves. And independence should be an issue that should be watched very closely. And there was this very active camp led by Edward Francis Small and his cohorts and all the other people who helped him do his work. Keba Walimbai of Hagen Street and Momodu Jahumpa, the father of the Gaba Jahumpa we knew.
Yeah.
They were staunchly behind the ratepayers and the Ratepayers Association to say, look, we are ready to unionize, and we know that we are ready for, the Gambia is ready for independence, or at least a modicum of self-governance, self-government. And but there was the conservative section which said, no, let the white man rule for some time until we can catch our balance. That political division divided this battle society of those days. But then everything worked out that in the end, politicians came on board and stood on the shoulders of those guys, and that's what D.K. Jawara was able to declare on 18th February 1965 as an independent Gambia.
So moving on, let's talk about...
This thing had been ruling since 1917, 1918.
Yeah, so part of the things that we discussed at the exhibition has to do with the evolution from then to now. Like, what comparison can you make in relation to newspapers then and things they focused on and newspapers now?
Well,
the changes.
Social issues were at the forefront of their campaign. It's education, opening of schools, establishing, for example, if you look at the struggle of the national, of British West Africa, those people, they had this meeting in 1920 in Accra, and they came back with a manifesto which spoke definitely of establishing a college and a university in 1920 in the Gambia. But then the colonial government wouldn't take it up. Mr. Small proposed a railway system for the Gambia, but Governor Galway wouldn't look at it. Governor Galway, as a matter of fact, described it as a harebrained scheme. When in fact, across the border in Senegal, the French accepted that there should be a railway system, and they put one in, and it is running. Today it's running from Dakar to Niger, I think. And that was the same thing Small talked about in 1920 for Gambia. But then they say, well, what do you produce to support the thing? It became an economic issue. And England wasn't interested. When it discovered that the Gambia was just mud flats, I can call that, alongside the river, they decided, well, we don't think there's much economic gain here, so let's just... In fact, many times in the history of the country, they wanted to exchange us for other French territories so that we could just be part of French Senegal. And then England would take Gabon or Ivory Coast or whatever it was. But of course, all of that fell through because of the campaign in the colony that we wanted to remain British.
So now, newspapers now.
Well, newspapers, independence was a good watershed. Because after the big papers like the Vanguard, the Echo, and the Gambia Weekly News run by the Findin Dailies and the James Senegals. When that era passed, as a matter of fact, the 50s was very, very, very terrible year for journalism. 3 editors died the same year.
Wow.
Senegal died, Small died, and Findin Daily died. So there was this gap that was only filled when the Vanguard came in. And after the Vanguard, then Independence, after Independence, and then the cycle. But they could not produce tabloids. The machines were running out of ink, they were breaking down. Importation of paper was a problem. So we resorted, not as we had in the Gambia Echo Syndicate, where this was a corporate structure like a board running a newspaper. It did not pan out as the board of the Vanguard newspaper, where Bright was there as the proprietor, and there was a secretary and a treasurer, and Dixon Coley was the treasurer and all that. It became a one man doing everything. So, and then it changed to the cyclo-style paper that they used to clip. They call it the Gestetner press. Because of that machine, that Gestetner machine. You roll the newspapers off the machine, printing recto verso, as they say in French. And how can you keep it together? Stapling pin. And that's how Batarawale distributed his paper. That's how Jones distributed his paper. That's how R.S. Allen distributed his paper. And all these people were up the marquee there for the students or for visitors to see that these were the people who struggled to make journalism stick. And this is how they struggled to do it.
So how about newspapers now, you know, looking at 2022?
All right, we have now come to a point where we have gone back to the machines. We are now printing. We have our tabloids. It is left for us as a community to look at where these newspapers are serving us. They are serving us in filling a gap, a necessary gap. But then what more do we expect of them? I was listening to your conversation in the first segment, and you were talking about the front page and where children should be. Now, I've had my criticism, and I suppose my students have taken the word forward. I said, I said, why are Gambians not used to gold? And I took the case of Gina Bass. Gina Bass has had gold and gold and gold and gold. I asked my students the question, when are we going to see Gina Bass with her gold medal on the front page of our newspapers, so that Gambians can cultivate the mentality of winning.
Success. And just
of winning. Gina Bass with a gold medal on the front page. They say it won't sell. So I say, what sells? They say the stuff you see on our front pages. Approaching a politician, he giving you one line, and that one line becomes a story. With his picture, and Mr. So-and-so says he will refuse. And that becomes a story on our front pages. Mr. So-and-so says he will refuse, or he will reject. And one quote becomes a story.
But then, if that is the case, I mean, our newspaper, it's becoming a business now. It's more of marketing so that they can get money, not getting the dip stories.
Well, it's always been that the proprietor, the investor, must survive. But then there are ethics, there are standards, there are
follow.
There's a mission. Newspapers used to have a mission. Let me put it that way. And you must establish what you are and who you are and what you think you can do for society. But if the money quotient is the issue, well, then we are all dead. Because we all follow the money, and we follow the money trail, and that's it. So if I speak of what brings money to me, and that's all I'm interested in, we have no more social values. We can publish whatever sells. That's the mission. That's the feeling I get. You want to publish whatever sells, and then if that's your line, then that's your line.
So moving on, now we have the telephone. You can easily go and read the news using your phone. People are not really keen on buying newspapers anymore.
But that's not killing newspapers.
That's not killing newspapers.
It doesn't mean newspapers will disappear from the stands.
Yes. But
we have gone back to history,
yeah,
where when radio came about, when radio arrived,
yeah,
everybody said newspapers will die.
Yeah.
Well, radio did not kill newspapers. When your
maybe radio is just, you know,
yes,
audio, but
yes,
now you know, this is visual.
But then the physical movement and the physical use, the what they call human factors.
Right.
Human factors are there that will appeal to a newspaper being opened and read.
Yeah.
Human factors are there that will say, well, let me just listen to the sound bites and I'm off. Each category can be catered to.
Yeah, but it's going down. The
Yes,
buying of newspapers and its production.
Yes, it will go down,
Yeah.
but I thought you were addressing the possibility of its disappearance.
No, disappearing completely, we're not there yet, but
Well, we don't want to be there.
Yeah, we do not, but
Yeah.
we're moving towards the direction with it declining globally.
Then it's, what you do is if you bounce back,
Yeah.
you begin to discover other routes
Yeah.
to make the newspaper what it is. You ask yourself, what can't the mobile phone give my client or my reader? And then you make sure that the mobile phone, the newspaper provides that.
And you know, another funny thing is the fact that newspapers themselves have websites that someone can simply use their phone to check in what the stories are for free.
Well,
So
they have to decide whether they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Question.
And same thing as I had a complaint yesterday about people organizing ISPs,
Yeah.
but then now operating radio.
Yeah.
Radio say, well, how do the radio people get revenue?
Okay.
If the people who used to give them revenue are now operating radio stations.
Yeah.
Genuine complaint.
Yeah.
But then it says, well, if they are thinking a radio and you're not talking about antitrust,
Yeah.
any antitrust measures, the government doesn't have law about antitrust limitations, then the person who's getting the short end of the stick when a mobile company also operates radio,
Yeah.
you as a broadcaster, you have to go and make sure, how do I get out of this?
Yes.
By pursuing, lateral logic, or influencing the law that these things are regulated and brought.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Yeah.
the habit of reading in the Gambia. I mean, now most people don't read.
Yes.
I mean, and it has become a problem. Don't you think that will also affect newspapers?
Yeah, this is it's very Gambian not to read.
Yes.
And that is one painful admissions we must make. And I studied in the United States, and I think the tease that hurt me most while I was at Lewis and Clark College was to say, if you want to hide a fact from a black man, put it in a book.
Yeah.
I think when I heard that in the United States, I think that was even worse than calling me the N-word.
Yeah.
Because it's like we love to live in darkness. Now I asked my class, how many people have read a novel in the last 6 months?
Yeah.
One person. How many people have read anything this morning? Journalism students, who has read the papers before you came? What are the headlines in the papers?
Yeah.
The reading is not there.
Yeah.
And so the audio
Yeah.
becomes more captivating. Well, if that doesn't change, because if they want to be writers, they must be readers first. And we don't know how to keep hammering that you say you come to the School of Journalism, you want to be a writer, but if you don't read, you can't write.
Yeah.
Because it is from reading that you begin to develop your style, because you are adopting the styles of the masters you've read. And then you begin to say, well, yes, I want to begin to sound like Aminata Sofal. I want to begin sounding like Kamara Lai. I want to begin sounding like Sheikh Anta Job, and that sort of thing. And then you put all of that together, then you plow in your own style. And that's what makes you a writer. It's not magic.
Well, I mean, final question from you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
hope I'm not boring you.
No, it's all right. What are we doing? I mean, you've narrated a lot of history when it comes to Banjul, newspapers, editors, writers.
Yes.
So what are we going to do now, this knowledge, so that we can put it together for our future generation?
Well, let's advertise it. what you saw at the exhibition is already in a book. And that book came out self-published in 2004, the newspaper in the Gambia. We have updated that to 2022, and it should be coming off the press anytime now. And it should have come out in time for the exhibition, but that didn't happen because we're still looking at the index and all that stuff. And in the next couple of weeks, that book will be there. And nobody has the excuse to say, I don't know how newspapers started in this country. The book is there.
Yeah. And
but will they read it? Will they buy it? But I mean, I say this. I said to a class of mine, you need a set book for this class. What's the cost of the set book? $300. Oh, Mr. Gray Johnson, this book is so expensive. So I said, all right, please show me your telephones. And everybody went, here's my phone. How much is that phone? Well, it's 9,000. I say, you have a 9,000 phone and you can afford a $300 book is too expensive. And she looked around and said, well, my uncle bought it for me. I said, yes, good excuse, good escape.
Uncle can equally buy you the book.
It was as if you were there. I say, go back to your uncle, tell your uncle to take back his 9,000 and give you 300. And that's all you need to do. But no, of course, you know why.
Yeah, so finally, just to wrap this up, generally, how do you see journalism shaping in the Gambia?
It's shaping
broadcasts.
It's moving.
Everything.
You are a product of that.
Yeah.
You are a product of that culture.
Yeah.
And see where you are.
Yeah.
And before you came to the school and now. That is why we established the school.
Yeah.
And if you can sit here today, then we must be doing some work back there.
Yeah, sure.
So you speak for us.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. And I'm asking him to go enroll.
And
I've been on his neck.
And I'm sure he's coming.
Yes, you have to get there quickly.
I will be there.
Yeah. But thank you so much, Mr. Nana Gray Johnson, for joining us on the program. Looking forward to another session. This was interactive, educative, you know, kind of reminding me of history of journalism. I'm like, wake up, girl, you need to remember certain things here and there. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. So from that, we'll just head right on to the click segment. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The World Cup is here. Enjoy the beautiful game of football with our Samsung Smart TV. Enjoy a massive discount on any Samsung TV purchased. We have sizes ranging from 32 to 85 inches, packed with an ever-evolving variety of content and features. The Samsung Smart TV also provides your favorite video on-demand services such as Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, music streaming services, and even various games and sports content to enjoy as you please. For more information, call us on 333 217, on WhatsApp 350-555-5, or visit our branch shops at the ground floor of QCell building or at the Bruceby turntable. This promo lasts till 30th December. As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network.
QCell, GSM company minna yirwa tariata Gambia Bankoka. QCell la 4G plus network ya banko bela mura. Andung ala internet o tariata sidula saba katambi nyongola. Saung sain yesta 335# kumande. Yadati kemuna fang 4G sobeol. QCell, Gambia la network lanna yaringo.
QCell woni GSM company ɓurɗon janɗude ko leydi Gambia ɗo e QCell 4G plus coverage on ɓuri yawude laaɓi tati ɓe woni poɗodirde ɓen Woru dial star 335 has. Fiwawa na fitorade ko woni 4G. QCell network burado holorede ko Lady Gambia.
Your favorite QCell service has gotten bigger. eFunkanta. Now you can loan bigger credit amounts to make life easier for you. Loan $75 and $100 and pay later. Yes, you heard me right. Get credit loan from $10 to $100 using eFunkanta by dialing star 393 hash anytime you run out of credit. Whether you want to buy Q Power, browse the internet, make urgent calls, or send SMS. eFunkanta is the service for you. Dial star 393 hash and choose the loan amount of your choice with no hassle. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus, the pioneers of mobile loan service in the Gambia. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
QCell company bu ëppa client yu ees yu koy jëfandikoo si biir réew mi. QCell am 4G plus coverage bu gën a yaatu si biir réew mi. internet bu gën a gaaw ñetti yoon naataangoom yi kon nag toxul léegi dal di dial star 335 hash dal di bànneexu.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. And now from all the seriousness, we will just get to dilute this with our click segment.
Greetings from wherever you are watching us from. It's your boy Churchill Ballet on the click segment. You know, the click segment is the juice of the program. There's nothing without entertainment. And of course, I'm joined by my amazing guest, and he is no other than the Manjai champion, Dope Kid in the building. What's up? What's happening, my brother?
I'm good, bro. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll allow you to greet your fans, and then right there, from that, we move to the interview.
Okay, greetings to all the viewers. This is Dope Kid, the one and only Manjai's champion, you know what I mean? I'm glad to be here. Yeah.
One only Manjai champion?
For real.
So the whole of Manjai, they only have Dope Kid?
It's confirmed.
Really?
I'm telling you.
So what makes you the champion first? Let's start with that.
I've been giving them a lot of beautiful songs,
right?
A lot of beautiful shows, and anytime I'm on stage, you know, it's a fire.
It's a shutdown.
I'm telling you.
So let's start with your career. First, the name, Dope Kid.
Mm.
What inspired the name, Dope Kid?
Dope Kid defines me. Like the meaning of dope, if you search it on Google, is extremely cool.
Right.
And the KID.
Spot on.
The KID mean the K mean kind, the I mean innocent, the D mean decent. You know.
Wow, that is so artistic of you.
I'm telling you.
All right, go on.
That defines me. So I started this music stuff way back the time I was in grade 7 in primary school.
Right.
So from back at the upper basic school to to senior. So there was a time that I stopped the music stuff because it was affecting my education.
Right.
You know, my dad wasn't cool with it. So I kept, you know, holding, but I couldn't, you know, just take my mind out of the music because I was like, it's a passion for me.
Just like any other Gambian artist or any other artist worldwide,
exactly.
Most of these big artists didn't have the support of their parents. Mm-hmm. You know, all of them, most of them, have went through struggles. Yeah. Their parents didn't endorse what they were doing because they thought it will take them out from their education.
Exactly.
Yeah. So most of these artists, they focus more on the entertainment rather than their schooling. Yeah, and sometimes, you know, that can be detrimental.
For sure.
Yeah. So go on.
I'm a victim. I'm a victim because after my dad was so harsh on me.
Okay.
So I have to, you know, at least focus on the schooling.
Right.
But it went to a stage that, you know, I couldn't just take my mind out of the music thing. So I kept, you know, doing my things on the low.
Right.
I kept pushing, and my dad, like, his friends usually came to this house, you know, and they'll be like, your son is really doing good. So there was a day I had my dad's phone ring, and his ringing
was your song.
You know? So on that day I was so very happy.
Wow.
And it encouraged me to work harder. And right now, my dad is like a manager, an advisor, and you know, he's everything. He do support me.
Okay, he's taking care of
He
all
do
your
support
moves.
me, I'm telling you.
Right.
And this music stuff makes me like to get closer to him.
Okay.
Because I do sit with him, chat with him.
So currently, are you going to school or you're done schooling?
No, I'm not going to school.
You're a full-time artist.
For real.
Are you signed onto any label?
Not really. not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, yeah.
But you're looking forward to it.
Yeah, sure.
So who amongst the artists have you worked with so far?
I've worked with Attack.
Okay.
I've worked with Hussein Dada, Miss Jovis, and A2. Like I can say those are the big names. And shout out to my brother Bas.
So being an upcoming artist is not an easy place to be.
Sure.
Trust me.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes you'll be reaching out for the bigger artists, and then they'll be looking like, nah, that's not my level. How are you coping with that? Are you getting that discrimination from any artist?
I took my time.
Feel free.
Yeah, I took my time before, you know, even linking with them, like about having a collab with them. I took my time. I worked, you know, like on a solo. You know, I did a lot of beautiful songs, which made them believe, you know, like
that you got it in you.
Exactly. So, you know, I just dropped my EP, and in that EP, I got 3 collabs. That's Hussein Dada, Miss Jobis, and A2.
And what is your biggest song of that EP? Or your favorite, should I say your favorite song?
I can say like all the songs are my favorite songs.
All the songs?
Trust me, if you listen to the EP, you will love the songs.
Okay, we'll hold it right there. We'll go for a short break, introduce your music video, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Styles Pro on the beat.
Stylish. Is it because I'm blessed? My mama's some blessings, like every day me I must progress. So why you want convex? Feel like I'm all a cotilo, I love it and I send, but it's in the cotilo. Feel like I'm all a cotilo, and I'm coming like a breeze, but it's in the cotilo. Jealousy, jealousy, me I'm blessed, but to say I'm lucky. Jealousy, jealousy, me I'm blessed, but to say I'm lucky. Jealousy, oh, jealousy, jealousy, oh, jealousy, jealousy, oh, jealousy, me I'm blessed, but to say I wanna be a millionaire. No play, I gotta get it on, yeah. Plenty money, but here to see the man, yeah. See me, I'm rolling with the big man, yeah. Tell me why you jealous me. Anything I do, I'm not talking. Yeah, I love my juice, you can't do nothing. Nobody can stop me from moving, yeah. Is it because I'm blessed? My mama sent blessings like every day.
Welcome back. As you can see, I'm laughing, we're having fun. So the reason behind my laughter is because he is admiring my moves. Come on, we got moves, bro. We got moves. Wow, come Nunu, come here. So let's talk about this music video. The title of the song first. That is the talking point for me.
Jealousy.
Jealousy. What is wrong with all of your artists? Everybody says jealousy, jealousy. Who is jealous of you people?
I did this song with my brother Bas, you know, TRB. Shout out to Bas.
Right.
Like, yeah, there was a day we just hop on the studio, and I told him that by today we need to do something.
Right.
So the beat was just playing, then I just have the concept, you know. Let me just do a hook. I have a hook. Let me just try. And I did it one go. Like everybody in the studio liked it. So I'm like, we're good to go. So he also did his fast.
So what inspired the song Jealousy first? Are you facing jealousy from your friends?
Yeah, of course I do.
Right.
I do face like a lot of crazy stuff. You know, I was in a lot of groups.
Okay.
Two
groups. You started out your career as a...
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
Okay, right.
So A little that.
Okay, it's like he doesn't want to go.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to go deep into that.
Yeah.
So, what projects are we expecting from you? What are some of the things that we will be expecting from you,
okay,
especially this year?
Yeah, this year I dropped the EP that I was telling you about.
Right.
I dropped an EP and I did a show for that EP.
How many songs do you have on that EP again?
7 songs.
7 songs. Okay.
3 collabs, 4 singles.
Right.
I did a concert for that EP, like Unbreakable, the EP at the Manjaya Park, and it was very beautiful.
Everybody came out and showed
everybody,
love.
despite like the date class we have, like there were a lot of shows on that day,
Okay.
but we did our level best. Like.
So what's your relationship with other artists right now?
Like I have no beef with any artist.
No beef.
No,
yeah, you seem to be like a cool kid.
I don't I don't pray to have any beef with any artist.
Really?
I'm telling you. Yeah.
But sometimes it is part of the game. Come on.
Yeah.
You need to add some spice to it. It's part of the culture.
Maybe. But
or are you afraid? Are you part of the people that are afraid of beefs? Because some artists do invite beefs. Do you know that?
Yeah.
They invite beefs. Like who's gonna clash me? There was this year when Mike Jada came out with this single saying "Can see na manyeme."
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like an open beef. Who's ready to? He's the king.
Yeah.
So he's calling out anybody that is ready to challenge his title. So you are the champion. You are Manjai's champion.
Exactly. That's what I
so
want
they
to
are
say.
coming for you.
They keep coming for me.
But you are ignoring them.
Yes, I'm not replying.
Is it that they are not on your level?
I'm just on the positive side. I don't want to bring any negative.
Yeah, no negative vibes. No negative vibes.
Yeah,
so let's show the world the other side of you. We're gonna give you a bit. Okay. And you will freestyle on a bit. Are you ready?
No problem.
My guest is ready. So we move on to a freestyle session. Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Give him a beat, control him.
Let's
Styles Pro on the beat.
Stylish. Is it because I'm blessed? My mama send blessings like every day. Me I must progress. So why you want convex? Fele kamala kotilot. All of it tenga send body send a kotilot. Fele kamala kotilot. When I come like a breeze, brother send a kotilot. Jealousy, jealousy. Me I'm blessed, but to say I'm lucky. Jealousy, jealousy. Me I'm blessed, but to say I'm lucky. Jealousy, oh jealousy, jealousy, oh jealousy, 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 oh jealousy. Me I'm blessed, but to say I wanna be a millionaire. No play, I gotta get it on, yeah. Plenty money, but here to see the man, yeah. See me, I'm rolling with the big man, yeah. Tell me why you jealous me. Anything I do, them the talking. Yeah, I'm a juice, you can't do nothing. Nobody can stop me from moving, yeah. Is it because I'm blessed? My mama send blessings like every day. Me I must progress. So why you want come next? Fele kamala kotilo, la fitanga send body send a kotilo. Yeah. Fele kamala kotilo.
Welcome back from that. We still have Dope Kid in the building, giving us that vibe, energy, straightforward, So, Dope Kid, looking at the game right now, we have, let's say, artists, like as I was telling you, artists clashing each other, this and that. Where do you think our Gambian music is heading
to? Okay. Like this thing is part of the game,
right?
When especially when it comes to this rap thing, it's part of the game. Like, because currently, like the media is on fire. Everybody is posting,
hyping it.
I'm telling you. So some people are on the other side, some are this side. So I believe it's normal. It's normal, yeah.
Okay, nice. It's normal. Yeah. the clash, the beef here and there. So my amazing guest was Dope Kid. This is all we had for the click segment.
Okay.
Well, we'll make sure we'll have you back on the click segment because you owe me that freestyle.
No problem, bro.
You owe me that freestyle.
No problem. I was even hungry for it.
I know, right? So that is all from me. Till I come your way again. It's your boy Churchill Balle, and I'm out.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. From the click segment, that is all we have time for. Till we come your way tomorrow with another interesting program. Bye-bye.